Hello, everybody, and welcome to Banana Island Living. Today, we're dealing with a terribly important topic, one that I think must have affected every family in the world at some point or the other. We're talking about the dreaded C. Even saying the name scares me because it's like you're going to hex it. You're going to use your mouth to call it, as we say in Nigeria. We're talking about cancer, and I'm looking at this being a two-parter where I talk to different professionals in the field. But before we do that, before we do anything else, can you just look for the subscribe button? Subscribe to Banana Island Living podcast, and we're on the radio as well. And give us a 5-star rating. I know you're dying to do that. Yeah. And now, my guest is an amazing cancer treatment professional. Her name is Moji, and she's been in cancer treatment for over 30 years as a radiation therapist. She retired as a deputy director in the Oncology unit at the LASU, Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Well, having practiced in 5 different hospitals on 3 continents. And she spent many years teaching and constructing radiation therapy curricula in both the US and Nigeria. She started a foundation, but let me introduce her and let her tell you about it. Hello, Moji. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Shadi.
Hi.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Yes, as Shadi said, my name is Moji. I'm a radiation therapist, and my passion is my cancer treatment foundation that I founded because we don't have nearly enough cancer treatment centers in Nigeria. And I was just tired of complaining. So I decided to do something about it. That was in 2013.
Now, before we even get into that, why did you go into cancer treatment? Usually there's a backstory there somewhere.
I actually just fell into it. I finished my O levels. I was taking my A levels, and Professor Duncan, a friend of our family,
Alero
showed me
Duncan's
around.
dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, he showed me around. He was then head of department, I think. Yes, he's an oncologist at
Unilag, Medilag, yeah.
Yes, College of Medicine in Lagos, and he said, if you know him, you know he's like, oh, you might like to come and do this radiation therapy. Good, you'd be very, very good at it. And I just said yes, and that started my career on. And I got to school in Newcastle because we didn't have a therapy school in Nigeria.
Right.
Still don't.
So you started this cancer treatment center in 2013 in Isolo.
Yes.
Was the choice of location deliberate?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We wanted to start in Lu. We wanted to start off in Lu. It conflicted with the opening of the new Lu center that is there now. So we moved to Isolo, which was got a place that would suit us at that time. And also it was a community that
well, do you know, that was what I was going to say, that demographic, is probably not as well served as other demographics, maybe. And for what you're trying to do, that would be a fantastic location.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And then we had to start from awareness. We couldn't treat because people just didn't know. We had to educate and then screen and then get to before we go to the treatment point.
Well, and that's the other question. How do you even get them to come and test?
With a lot of difficulty.
They'll say somebody's doing them, or it's malaria, or what? I mean, what are the sort of things? What are the reasons people didn't want to test?
A lot of the times they didn't believe that they needed to have it done because the pastor had told them that it was somebody doing something, or the herbalist had told them that it was there. grandmother tries to move husband or wife or something, doing something to them, and they just needed to pray or they needed to fast or they needed to use this ointment on it. And no matter what she said, those people had more of a stronghold on them than whatever you
Yeah.
were saying. They would not come until
It's probably too late.
it's 4 years. Yeah, and then you would just have to give palliative care and alleviate those symptoms and just keep them comfortable. But
I
that's
was joking about this. I didn't really know that it was that serious in terms of people not accepting and the role of the pastors and so on. So do you go to the pastor to convince them to come, or
that, that's
how do
what
you
we
deal
had to
with
do.
it? If you can't
We
beat
had
them, join them or put a
the
church inside the clinic or something.
no, what we did was take the screening to the churches. Take it
Yes.
to the mosques, take it to the and just actually in Ghana they had to integrate the traditional medicine people into their system so that they would refer the patients to them.
To them.
And yes, refer them to the hospital because otherwise they would just keep them. So they had to educate the traditionalists and say, okay, it's okay, let them start with you because they're not going to go anywhere else. And then
Yes.
when to you, send them to us. And they would come then. So that's what we did with the pastors and
Or maybe
the NGOs.
you share your fees with the pastor and the herbalist and the babalaos. You're on a fee sharing referral, whatever it takes.
But we've come a long way, thankfully, because it's just now they're allowing us to talk in churches, talk in mosques,
Yeah.
and seeing the error with that. We can do both. You can actually pray
Yeah.
as well as treatment.
Yes.
You
I
know,
mean, God gave us science to be able to use it. So why
exactly,
discard part of what
exactly.
he's telling us? Now your center, I mean, I know you're a radiotherapist, but do you what is actually available to, is it just radiotherapy or the full range of services?
What we offer now in our, and we moved to Surulere, which is a bigger, more permanent site for us. We have chemotherapy.
Yeah.
But we have oncologists see our patients, and then when they're done with the chemotherapy, or if they need radiotherapy before chemotherapy or surgery, we have a team of doctors who we work with,
Right.
who we refer our patients to. So they get everything, but not just not in
Not
house.
necessarily in-house. What I'm particularly concerned about is, I'm sorry, I have to confess, I have some skepticism to chemo as well. I know it helps, but the collateral damage and the side effects, talk me through that, please. Are we able, what we have in the country at the moment, are we able to, because I know, I mean, because I was going to talk to you, I quickly went online and started doing some research so I don't sound like a complete idiot. But I know they've been able to fine tune the delivery of the therapy.
Yeah.
But what we have in the country, in Nigeria at the moment, is the risk reward, is it percentages? 70% fix you, 30% damage surrounding organs or your body or your immune system?
The gap between it's closing very, very quickly,
Right.
because of transfer of technology.
Yeah.
Now patients, because chemotherapy on its own, because it's just like radiotherapy,
Yeah.
they're all toxic, they
They're
all affect
toxic.
normal cells.
Yes. I mean, I had a
The
sister-in-law that went through this, and at the end of the day, I mean, she was glad to go. It was just, and you wonder, quality of life, was it worth those extra 6 months? You know?
exactly, and
And the
that's where the
money, you
reality.
beggar the family, the poor lady was in pain. Hey, I
But
don't
it
know.
doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't
Right.
have to be like that. We for quite a while, and for want of a better word, delivery of chemotherapy and was a little screwed. But
Yeah.
more and more centers now are working because you can deliver the dose, the rate at which you deliver the dose, just like in the radiation. You
Yeah.
can't give the patient a whopping dose
Yeah.
one time. It kills the cancer, but then it also kills all the normal cells. So the same thing applies to chemotherapy. So the dosage, the rate at which the patient is given, the monitoring of the side effects, the alleviating of those symptoms, the diet of the patient, the counseling of the patient, the state of mind of that patient, all these things to give a holistic treatment
Yeah.
gives better results at the end of the day rather than when you just wham, just give that patient a big dose and then yes, it gets rid of cancer, but then it leaves other things and it can cause cancer in other places.
Well, do you
Because
know?
so management of the patient is really key. And I say to many of our patients that a lot of the times here, it's not the actual disease. Because I have a friend, one of my best friends, that we went to school together and we've been friends ever since. She's a stage 4 cancer patient. One
Oh,
day she's swimming in the ocean. One day she's climbing Mount Everest. She's living a full life
yeah.
because she managed properly. So it's not the disease, it's our management of
Of
it.
it.
And that's what we're trying to change now. And it is changing. It is changing. It's a slow process, but it's changing, thankfully.
Well, someone said if you do get the diagnosis or whatever it is, or if you feel a twinge or whatever, once you hear, you have to project manage your treatment and your life. You can't just leave it to the professionals. How true is that? Is that true?
Yes, it's very true. It's very true because nobody knows you as well as you,
Yeah.
and then you have to understand what it is that is going on with you to
Yeah.
be able to help the doctor to give you the best treatment. And if the doctor what doesn't want you to work with them, go to another physician, go to another oncologist. That's what I say. It's your body. You only have one life. When they
Yeah.
come to treatment in the US, they tell you which machine that can give them the best treatment, what chemotherapy they're supposed to be having,
Yeah.
and then almost check the credentials of the doctor,
Yes.
looking. So
I,
they
I'm
come in,
sorry.
educate.
I would do it. This is my life on the line. Google
They
is
come
your
in
friend. You would
educated.
have done, you come with a dossier.
And many, I mean, I've had patients walk out because they say, well, I'm not being treated on your equipment. I'm sorry. Nope. And they go somewhere else.
Well,
So that's kind of
it's a function of
empowerment.
money though, isn't it? Money and
It's
knowledge.
Well, it's empowerment. And somebody who's coming into place A to get treated has the money to go to place B to get treated.
Yeah.
So, and then we're getting more and more centers. So there's more competition. So we all have to be on our toes to ensure that we give our patients the best.
Now, I know this is probably not very PC, but if I have the money, should I just go out of the country? Or should I explore what's available in Nigeria? I know you
I,
may laugh, but hey, even if I have to beggar my neighbor, as they say, or beggar everybody I know in the family, send out a begging bowl, is that the best
I,
chance of surviving this thing?
Um, from my own experience over the years,
Yeah.
I honestly feel that when you look at it in its entirety,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not a good idea when people they go by themselves.
Yeah. They don't have the support.
Yes, the support is really quick, just
Critical.
almost as critical as the treatment.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
if you
I
have the
feel.
support, or you can afford to pay for the support, or you have family over there or something,
Mhm.
let's remove that
I
one.
think it's the best place. Yeah, yes. I mean, they make mistakes there too. They have
Yeah.
issues. They don't have NEPA issue and PHCN issues and
Yes.
stuff like that and the internet. But there are also issues there that concern. I mean, the doctors in Nigeria
They're
they are
actually
quite
quite
good
good. Yeah.
because
I
they
mean,
had
well,
to
you go abroad and it's
because they had
Nigerian
to work
doctors
with
working there too, you know.
exactly, and they've had to work with under circumstances that are, I mean, harder than, so they've had to grow up very quickly, so to
Yeah.
speak, in the
Yeah.
profession. So they know how to manage patients. But I think, and large, because of numbers,
Yeah.
they're just not enough. There are not enough facilities for that alone.
You should just
because you
carry your
might get
money and
quicker
go.
treatment. You can get, yes, yes. But there are other centers that are coming up now that you will get prompt treatment. The important thing is prompt treatment, being
Early
able to
diagnosis.
liaise with the doctor, early diagnosis. Those are the things that give one a fighting chance with cancer most of the time. We have to home grow, and that's
Yeah, of course.
so for me, doing what I'm doing, I wouldn't advocate going,
No,
because
I
many
look, I totally I get where you're coming from, but it's like people who say, they don't believe in private education and stuff because you have to support if people don't use the public system, but when it comes to their own child, they suddenly panic and say, I beg, let me just,
exactly.
I'm
Yes,
going
know,
private.
That's that's right.
So
We don't know when
I know where my heart is. I know the right thing to do, but when it comes to life and death and it's cancer, hey, all my so-called
and
principles
I
go out of
actually
the
thought about
window.
that the other day. That being in the profession that I mean, doing what I'm doing. I mean, God forbid, but if I
What would you
get
do?
cancer,
What
would
would
I
you do?
want to go away, or would I stay in Nigeria?
Yeah.
It would be a tussle with my children, because they would want me to go out of Nigeria.
But that's the other
quite
thing, isn't
honestly,
it? Yeah.
I would stay in Nigeria.
You're right.
At this point in
why is
time,
that?
I would.
Why is that?
Because it's home, and
Yeah.
it just it those attendant things mean a lot, because I've seen. I mean, I've seen it work with patients. I've seen the patient who comes with her husband, and how she deals with, I suppose, the patient who does not come with her
And this
husband.
is when the pastor and the church community comes in useful. They're all praying for you. They're all visiting.
Exactly. So it's I mean, it's a toss up, but it's a personal decision.
It's a decision,
when you weigh everything all together, you come up. But all the way through, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's the US, whether it's Outer Mongolia, just make sure that you're educated and you know what you want, and you can ask what they're doing to you. What is this drug? Why do I need it? How much of it? I mean, you can ask the most stupid questions, and they should be obliged to answer you.
And then you do your research,
Exactly. Yes.
So tell me, I know this is pretty morbid, but which are the most common cancers that you're coming across in Nigeria before and now? And has there been a big change in what you're seeing?
Big change in the numbers, I think.
Yeah.
But
was that just a function of people being aware, or what?
People being aware, and our diet, I think, over the years have changed. In 30 years, we've started eating a lot more fatty stuff, a lot more processed food.
Burger King is in Nigeria now.
Exactly.
Domino's pizza.
And you
ice
know
cream.
in Nigeria, because
every Sunday after church. After church, the children go.
Where the grease is dripping off.
That cheese. How much cheese did we eat before?
It was a treat then, but now it's like a norm.
Yeah. And so breast cancer is the one you're seeing a lot more of now.
Yes. If you see 10 patients, probably 7 of them are breast cancer patients. It's high. It's high in Nigeria. Because also it's the most detected, because a lot of work has been done with the awareness and screening. So early detection for breast cancer has also increased a lot. A lot of education, even the men. I mean, most of the things they might be discovered by the husbands, and so it's a lot of work has been done, and it's showing. It's showing. Cancer of the cervix.
Cervix, yes, that's another one. Apparently, that one doesn't even you don't get any notice until it's like stage something or the other.
Well, you do, but by the time you start getting symptoms,
it's a bit late.
I think it's pretty far gone. That's why the people should get screened. Do the pap smear. If you can't afford the pap smear, go and do a cervical screening. I mean, with VIA, visual inspection with acetic acid. It just shows, and a lot of the times it shows when it's at the precancerous stage.
It can show.
That's the beauty of them.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it shows it as a plaque. And then if that's scraped off, but most likely it will not. I mean, obviously, it's not there anymore, so it will not develop into cancer.
Right.
But if it's left at that precancerous stage, it's very likely that it would become a cancerous lesion. So by the time people wait until they're bleeding and or irregular periods and stuff like that, it's probably spread locally or maybe to nodes and stuff like that. But it's very treatable, and it's heartbreaking when it gets to that stage, because there's no reason why cervical cancer and it's about 97% cure rate.
Oh, wow.
Outside of Nigeria.
Outside of Nigeria. Africa. But in Nigeria?
Outside of Africa. Not in Nigeria, we're like 20%. because they come late, because they present late. But
what about the breast cancer? What's the sort of percentage?
Survival rate for breast cancer in Nigeria, right? I don't know. Our stats are not very good. We don't really have a lot of data. But many of if it's early stage breast cancer, stage 1, stage 2, you can, 60-70% of them, if they're early enough, really early stage 1, that all the disease is excised. It's even higher than that. But when it's getting to stage 3, stage 4, you're talking about 40%.
And mastectomies, is it worth doing at stage 4? Because sometimes I hear that when they do surgery for cancer, it sort of makes it spread to other parts that it wasn't there before.
So that's why, the benefits outweigh the risks for that.
Of the surgery.
Yes, the benefits of the surgery, because you want to excise that tumor. All those cells that are growing, you want to excise them no matter what. You want them out of your body than in. Out of one's body. So it's better at any point, whether it's a lumpectomy, whether it's a mastectomy, it's better to be to have it removed. And then that's why you have the chemotherapy and radiotherapy, to ensure that if there are any stragglers left behind or any that have moved around, the chemotherapy would go around the system and ensuring that they are killed. And the radiotherapy would kill any local cells that are left behind during surgery that is macroscopic and the doctor could not see or whatever. So that's why it has to be multidisciplinary treatment. You can't just give one without the other. A lot of times, unless it's a really, 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 really tiny tumor and you just remove it and then you watch the patient, but it's best to make sure that you cover all bases.
I was desperate for some good news for cancer. So I started Googling, and then I came across something called Reflexion, which is a novel radiation machine, cancer destroying radiation in real time. And it does sort of like multiple masses at the same time. And I thought, wow. So no matter how much support I'm getting in Nigeria, if there is a chance that I can go, hey, it's worth trying. Are there clinical trials in Nigeria and so on? Because you hear all this cutting edge technology.
Yes. Oh gosh, there are a lot of clinical trials going on.
So can you ask to be part of this, if all the other bits have not worked, can you ask and say, please try this on me, and where does one go?
Where you go for treatment, they have to be part of the trials.
Right. So would this be at the universities or teaching hospitals?
Yes. Okay. And sometimes they would refer patients from hospital A to hospital B if they feel that they would fit into the trials. So the network of them oncologists, they actually do quite pretty good work with each other.
Right, fantastic.
In ensuring that the patient gets the best. It's just there are just so few of them. There are about 80 something or so. I think there are less than 100 oncologists in Nigeria for all the cancer patients. Yes, that's nationwide, not just Lagos. Majority of them are in Lagos.
Goodness.
Yes. And there are even less radiation therapies, just in case you're interested.
Yes. So,
Just, it's
so
those
what do
are
we,
the areas we need to work on.
plug, I don't know, this is for another day. I'm just tired when I heard that statistics. I just got tired. I said, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
So there's one thing that I've been sort of thinking about when I was reading up on this is what has been exercising, or at least should have been exercising, but it's getting more to the fore now, as to racial predisposition to certain type of cancers, or the testing and the therapies.
Yes.
Please talk me through that, because I'd really like to know.
A lot of work is being done, because initially, and I think was just a lot of work done on cancer was done where the majority of the patients were Caucasians.
But apparently the gene, or one black woman's gene, was one used without her permission. I read that somewhere. But then they never tested it on black women,
Really?
Yeah. Apparently her estate is suing them or something. Because they took some tissue from her without telling. And then
knowing about it.
Maybe I'm talking rubbish, but I'm sure
it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I haven't heard about that. It's not impossible, but even as close as maybe I went to the States in 1998, there wasn't that much going on with testing of Black women, because the way we react to treatment, the kind of cancers we get, the age that we get.
That's what I was just going to say.
We could see all those with the patients coming in, but there was no data to back it up, just like we have. So now a lot more work is being done, and because a lot of African countries are pushing for this research and pushing for this data, and because you can't be a major player if you don't have the tools. You have to, and the data is your tools to be able to tell the big pharma that, look, this is not working for us. This is what we need. This is what the Asian women need. This, because they're all breast cancer, but the way the incidence, we have much younger people. We have 18-year-olds. We have 15-year-olds getting breast cancer in Nigeria at a very young age. So it's not impossible.
Breast cancer?
Yes. I mean, as long as when they've reached puberty, it's not common, but it happens. So we have to, and it's a very aggressive kind. You rarely find that in Caucasians. It might have changed now with the world. I mean, we're all eating the same things and doing the same thing and dancing the same way. So the lines are blurred with them in certain ways, but we still have to have our own homegrown. So to a certain extent, even the treatments for one kind of breast cancer, HER2 positive is different from HER2 negative. Different. So it's more tailor-made treatment for each patient, taking in all these things that happen to them. So we are doing a lot of research, and it's making a difference.
So tell me something positive that's happening in Nigeria in cancer. Are you struggling?
Cancer treatment centers. No.
Please,
cancer treatment centers
give me something positive, something, uplifting.
Yes, cancer treatment centers are growing.
Right.
The screening is growing as well. The number of people being screened, but our numbers is just because of our population. It's just like a drop in the ocean, but the numbers are growing. Right. Awareness for prostate cancer for men is growing.
Oh, fantastic.
And the need to go and have the PSA done and all that stuff is growing. And then also the research. There's a lot of research going on.
Funded
not only in treatment, but also in diagnosis.
Wow.
We are getting involved in a research right now that you can use mammograms to see try to predict whether somebody is likely to get cancer, or when they need their own, when they need their next mammogram. So there's a lot going on in the world, and Africa is playing its part, which is important. We weren't doing that before, but we are doing it now, big scale.
So I'm I'm happier.
That make you happy?
Well, happier than when we started the program, because it was such a depressing, it was like no good news. So I had to dig out that bit about radiotherapy. Yes. I think maybe 2 people benefited from it. I don't know, but at least it was something.
I think the way that I look at it, because people are like, how do you continue to do this work? It must be so depressing.
It's so destroying.
That patient that you have treated, that patient that you have completed the treatment, the joy on their faces, the what you've done with their family,
it's literally saving a life.
They accepted. It's for me, that's the high.
I think that's when the pastor pays you back for your bit. After you paid him to refer the patient, he should now pay you back that fee. He can claim his the prayers that did the work.
I know. Well, the pastor will pray for me very fervently.
Do you know? Absolutely. Oh, that's such good news. Now, on a final note, what about pain relief in Nigeria? How much is available? Because I remember a friend's mom. We had to be shipping medication, and some of them are opiates, and it was very difficult. How do you do that?
It's not enough. It's not enough. What we do with palliative care, and that's what a lot of the times we have to learn to manage the patient's quality of life, rather than just dosing them with drugs that are expected to cure them. When you're treating at any point palliative care, whether it's a stage 1, stage 2, 3, or 4 patient, you have to think of it as a palliative care, because if you have palliative care at the back of your mind, then the quality of life of that patient is critical, is important as well. It's not just the dosage of the drugs and the chemotherapy and the double whammy, everything. You have to think of what is the quality of life, and know when to say, okay, just let's keep you comfortable. Cancer has gone to your bones now. Let's alleviate the pain. Have some radiotherapy. Have some pain medicine. Not
the aggressive treatment. Yes.
And be throwing
and also,
off.
You look at the age of the person.
Exactly. I think that's something that we also we could work on. I think in counseling them, and because they want the whole gamut. I mean, we would all want. Why are you not giving her chemotherapy? Give her some more. Give her some more. And that's So the few years, and I mean, nobody knows when any of us is going. People,
I was in a situation where a family member, we were collecting money to take them abroad. This was stage 4. I mean, he didn't want anybody to know. They were praying about it. By the time they told us and we all ran around to get money, it was late. And then they were trying everything instead of being at home where he can have his family around him. It was like they had to go and get a hotel to stay in while he was in hospital. It was just all that money wasted for an uncomfortable end. And
it speeds up. That's what they don't understand. It actually speeds up the demise of a lot of the times, because they themselves are not settled. They're not around people. They're not being cared for the way they should be cared for. So it's but it's a hard call. I mean, it's a hard call. Everybody wants to do what's best. And I remember, I mean, with the guilt from my mom.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The guilt. How can I say I didn't spend the money? Is it because of money or whatever?
You have to understand that it's not the money. It's what time you spent with that person, is what you discussed with them, is what you wanted to say to them that you got a chance to say to them. It's what, if they're doped up to the eyeballs with chemotherapy drugs and they
don't even know you. What's the point?
Every minute, you can't really speak with them, and it doesn't. It's not a guarantee that they're going to live longer. So do the best that you can, but make them comfortable and have people around them. And many patients that I've seen do that in the US. They've been given 6 months. Some have lived 2 years. Some have lived 7 years.
I know somebody that was given 6 months, And they live 3 years, so
it's not in our hands. That's not in our. So we should not be concerning ourselves with. Yes, the doctors will say what is required of them, but just make the most of the time every day. Make every day count, and however long God gives you is what God gives you. You know.
It is well, as we say. It is well.
Yes.
Yes. So
our answer to every prayer.
Yes. So it is well. Now, I mean, you're a thought leader in cancer treatment. You're on the board of Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria. You're a trustee of Association of Radiation Therapists of Nigeria, board member of RANMED. What is remaining on your bucket list? You seem to have done everything now.
I haven't done everything. When we have cancer treatment, comprehensive cancer treatment centers,
you would have done everything
in every region, in every geopolitical zone in Nigeria. Then we would have started to be doing well. Africa is our goal, but we would have started to do well. But really, I think I have what I want to do is transfer the knowledge. I love mentoring.
You've got so much, and I'm worried about the younger doctors coming on. Who's teaching them? You've retired.
Oh yes, they're getting mentored. They have older oncologists.
They haven't left the country. So many people have left the country.
I plead the fifth.
Yes, on grounds of self-incrimination.
Yes.
That's the worry, isn't it?
It is a concern. I mean, even in radiography, as radiation therapists, in droves, we have to ensure. I mean, something keeps them at home because we can't really sustain this. They being well educated, because otherwise they wouldn't get the jobs.
Well, that's the thing, and they're leaving at the prime time there when they could be useful to the community.
Exactly.
It's just like the slave trade all over again. Now this time we're the ones.
Honestly, well, at least now to get paid, I guess.
Yes, I guess.
Horrible though it is.
I know. But what would you, apart from medicine, what is remaining on your bucket list? What would you like to do for yourself? You've done so much for everybody. What's on your bucket list for yourself? Not necessarily professional.
I would love to go on a food trip in Thailand. Street vendors.
Do you know, just eat your way from one end of Thailand to the other.
From one to the other with my small bowl of
rice bowl.
With my husband. That's definitely on my bucket list.
Well, I hope he's listening, so he better get that ready. He's got that ready for you as a birthday present. Yes. From your mouth to his ears, straight off. No interference. No interference. So are you a church or chill person Sunday morning?
I'm a church person.
Okay. And what are you, Pentecostal? Are you Methodist?
I'm Catholic.
Okay. You like it straight. Yes. No dilution.
No dilution.
No dilution. As they call it in England, you're high pope. All that popery.
Yes.
Okay. And
we'll take it all.
Yeah, you take it. Yes. Okay. And so who do you admire most?
Oprah.
I hear her name a lot, but I'd like to hear you articulate after your mom. Okay. Your mom is allowed. What is it about Oprah that for you?
Oprah, for several reasons, actually, for a very long time, when my children were growing up, she had the fantastic guests. She had people on.
Yes, I remember that.
Who helped me. It was actually like an education, listening to them in child guidance, in seeing what the world had to do. So she's she didn't depend on herself.
Yeah.
Being the one
at the front of all knowledge. Yes.
Sure. Yes. She ensured that her audience were educated to the nth degree in whatever it was that she was talking about.
Yeah.
And then she would have all these offshoots from her shows. She had Dr. Phil, she had Dr. Oz.
Oh
She
gosh,
had
yeah,
people
don't
who
mention Dr.
started off
Oz.
with her, and then
people
they started.
are abusing Dr. Oz now, but yeah, no, that was fantastic. I get that. I get her rise, her self-motivation, her in the face of so many odds. But I see where you're coming from. So yeah, next to your mother, I like the way you said that. So she had an input into your development as well.
Yes.
Okay. So are you reading anything at the moment?
Yes.
What
I'm reading actually two books. One is called Malam. Oh, I've forgotten the name.
But what is it about?
The book is about this guy on a train journey and meets. I like reading Nigerian authors.
Yeah, they're very good.
But not well-known Nigerian authors, upcoming Nigerian authors.
Yeah.
But this one was actually by Cyprian Quincy.
Okay,
but it's about
an old one of Jaguar and Anafim.
No. Yes, of Jaguar and Anafim. That's exactly.
Yes.
But he was on a train ride, and then he was sitting with this old man who had a passport in his hand, and then he told him this long story about how he came about having the passport, which he's never used, but he's had it for 30 years. So that was like his prized possession. But that was I mean, it's interesting going on. And I'm also reading a book about the apostles.
Okay.
Good Catholic girl, but
yes, you're plea bargaining with God already.
But not really the perspective that everybody looks at them. I'm impressed by the time management skills, the planning, the marketing.
That's interesting.
So many things that you could gain. Each of them had their strengths and how they use that. And so it's interesting for me.
I was reading something about Jesus as an influencer. How that I thought that was fascinating from a business point of view. How he managed people management. That was awesome.
Exactly. Yes.
And this angle you're talking about with the apostles sounds really fascinating.
It is, and how he chose them.
Yes.
Probably for the different skills and for the different things that. So.
And somehow, they came together to do some amazing stuff.
Yes.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, that's fascinating. Yeah. And are you watching anything on DSTV, Netflix?
Yes. I'm an African Magic Yoruba fan.
Yeah. Theater Yoruba. Theater Yoruba.
Theater Yoruba. Yes. I've learned so much.
Is that really how people think?
Atrocious, but my Yoruba is good.
Is it how people really think? Do you know? Are those things reflecting?
We think in Lagos, we're in the minority. We don't think like the average Yoruba. So that's what we're finding out that we think we're Yoruba, but in Lagos, I don't think we're.
It's not quite. Because I look at those movies, I really tried to get into them. There's a lot of eye rolling,
I know.
And there was one long drawn out hairs and up and
I try to do that.
I find it stressful. Yes.
Because he's like, what are you doing?
I just find it difficult to relate. And it's always somebody doing Medi to somebody.
I know.
And then you start hearing some dodgy music with some funny special effects, flashing lights.
It turns a macabre scene.
Do you know, in the middle of nothing at all, some eye rolling, and then you start seeing some white paint or something.
Honestly. But
you're enjoying them.
TV.
Good.
And Netflix. But again, over the years, I've really changed quite a bit since I've been, since with DS series advent and all.
Yeah.
I've really moved a lot. And now, it's a lot away from movies from the West.
Well, do you know, so many people are saying this. I don't know whether it was during the pandemic or Black Lives Matter, but so many people... And maybe there's a lot more content now. They're just, they're reading more African books. They're reading our own stories.
Netflix, and they're all doing African thing.
Well, they know where the audience is.
I know.
I mean, I have some Oyibo friends sending me a link to wedding party. I said, "What's your own wedding party?" They said, "No, it's hilarious. It's absolutely fantastic."
I lived in Florida, and I went into a store one day, and I saw a stack of Nigerian movies. I'm like, what? When we still had the CDs.
Yes.
I could not believe it. I had to take a picture.
And it's not just Nigerians watching these things, I went to South Africa, and my brother's prayer group, they were saying, "Have you seen this movie?" And I thought, "What?"
So we're really opening up.
It's important. I think it's important that we know our own stories and we're telling our own stories. So exactly. So does that mean you're listening to African music or Nigerian music more now on your Spotify?
Oh yes, I've always listened to.
Okay.
I'm a Tunde Nightingale person.
Tunde Nightingale, that's seriously old school.
That is seriously old school. Yes.
Sonny Ade, yes. Sonny Tide.
And Tenny.
Okay, you like Tenny?
That's my Tenny, the young lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the one? That one I really liked it. It's really soulful.
My favorite is Anita Baker.
Oh, okay. I know the one. I know the one you mean. Yes.
That's a very risque one.
Very good. Yes. I just like her vibe, and they're just doing something new. And they're being unapologetically Nigerian.
Exactly, their confidence is astounding.
And it's
a generational thing. They're like,
yes, a lot of them are not even saying they're African; they're saying they're Nigerian unapologetically, and that is so uplifting,
refreshing.
Yeah, and it's great. Yes. So, can you describe yourself to me in 3 words?
I'm motivated.
Fantastic, yeah. Motivated. You gotta be to set up all these things. I can't believe it.
I'm witty.
Yes, and, I think you are. You're quick.
And I'm trying. The third one, but I'm family oriented. I'm very family oriented.
Okay, that's great. But what I like is you can always tell, I mean, I'm probably wrong. I'm always wrong. You can always tell people who've lived in America because they're usually quite forthright about, I'm witty. A British person would be going, well, I think I'm amusing.
You see, I feel that the British they're wittier than the Americans.
Well, but they would never claim it. They would never claim it, though. They would always try and be for lying self-deprecation. They're not really self-deprecating, but they pretend to be. So,
I go, but if you say that I'm witty and a genius, well, okay.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you.
That's what they would say.
Even the thank you, they'll always sort of, oh no, not really. You just caught me on a good day. That kind of thing.
Oh gosh, my children always. My mom was very proper lady.
Yeah,
kind of. And my children always laugh at me that, Mom, you're just this. You can see these things rise up in you once in a while, and
you will come up once in a while.
Yes, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
I must knock it back. I have to be authentic.
You don't even know when you're doing it.
Yes. So you have to tell me a joke now.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Why do people always panic when it comes to telling a joke?
No, because
it's not a big deal.
Like I said, I'm witty, but I'm not humorous. I'm not humorous in that my jokes always fall flat. They always fall flat.
Look, we might even put in some canned laughter. You've got a ready audience in me, so I will laugh whether it's funny or not. So I'll be that fake friend who will never tell you that your joke is not funny. I am that person.
You know what my children say? They say, oh, just donate laughter.
Yes,
so you donate laughter.
yes. It's to make what does it cost me to make the person to laugh? I will laugh. Don't worry. You got me. I will laugh. Okay. So tell me.
All right. This is not an original from me, so I'm just going to.
We all steal the jokes anyway. So.
All right. So there's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator.
Okay, tell me. What's that?
Only a fraction of people will get this clean joke.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got it.
It's painful, right?
But it's quite intellectual. Some of us, we actually have to know what a numerator and a denominator is and know that it relates to fractions. Huh.
Yes.
Talk of intellectual.
I'm
impressed. Well, please feel free. I mean, I did laugh, but you will get a bigger laugh with another joke.
What did one ocean say to the other?
Okay, ocean. What did one ocean say to the other?
Nothing.
They waved.
Waved.
I got that. For the first time in my life, I actually did get one right. Thank you so much. Moji Animashaun, she's been an amazing guest. We've laughed about, something that is, really, really quite challenging topic. She's made it so accessible and and she's doing this amazing stuff. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to talk about cancer, they want to talk about anything, they want to help your foundation, they want to get in touch with the foundation? Can you please let them know?
Yes, our email address is info@stcyrilfoundation.org.
Right.
And our phone number is 0814-032-2025.
Okay. And which is the best way of getting you? Is it Instagram? Is it email? Is it LinkedIn?
Yes. We're on all the social media. Our handle is @streetcancernig_.
Okay.
For Instagram and
and your website?
It's stcyrilfoundation.org. www.stcyrilfoundation.org.
Well, thank you so much. You persevered with this recording. You don't know how many challenges. I said it's only because we're Nigerians, so we always find solutions.
I know.
So, thank you for sticking with us.
On.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.
You're
such a star.
Disseminating information is important. Thank you.
So if you want to get in touch with us about anything that you've heard on this session, please send us a mail at mail@bananaislandliving.com. You can get in touch with us on Twitter @banana_living, on Instagram @bananaislandliving. You can get onto our website or send us an email at mail@bananaislandliving. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.